Hey guys, welcome to my answer key on how to do this balancing stuff. Hopefully you did try some of this on your own, and if you're here just to kind of watch the walkthrough, that's fine too. Just so you know, we'll be going live real soon here just to make sure that you understand how to do this, and that this is just it takes a lot of practice, and once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. It's just making sure you do understand it. So so I'm going to get right into it and write the answers here. So this one here, we always write with the first name, so calcium is Ca. And S refers to sulfur, but we can't write sulfur, we have to write sulfide. So that would be the answers there, calcium sulfide. When we look at our table here, calcium has 2 plus, so we're going to write 2 pluses there, and sulfur has 2 minuses. And it is balanced, and it doesn't look like calcium has any more forms than just one. So the answer here is it doesn't need a Roman numeral. The balance of this one would be, since it's already balanced, it'd be CAS, and that would just be your answer, because 2 and 2 are balanced. The next question here has to do with silver. And so that's the first letter there, word there. And then F is fluoride, but you would write that's flour. Sorry, so let's just erase that. Oops. Okay, sorry, so or you know what I'm saying. Fluoride. Sorry, it's horrible. I can't write that right. Anyways, silver has 1, fluorine has 1. We don't need any Roman numeral because silver is only one thing, and this would be AgF, which is what we had right there. Okay. Cool. So let's look at this one. Beryllium. Oh boy, that's a hard one to spell. Beryllium, and that one's nitrogen, but we can't write that. We write nitride. And Be has just one form, it looks like, and so it's just 2, and nitrogen has 3, and so when you have the 3 and the 2 like that, then we do the flip it good. We give the 3 to him, and we give the 2 over to him, and so that's why when we finished, we had the formula Be3 and 2. If we're looking at this one, potassium is K, and phosphorus is P, but we can't write that. We write phosphide. And K is just 1, and P has 3 minus. And so in order to be balanced, the K needs more. And so that's why we need to write K, and he needs 3 altogether to be balanced to the phosphorus, which is why that's what it was. And potassium only has 1 form. So the answer here is no, we don't need any Roman numerals. Looking over to copper, I notice right away when I go to copper on my periodic table that it does have 2 forms. So I'm going to check yes off right away just to be sure that I remember. And when I look at it, it says that it has a 2 plus and a plus. Some other periodic tables might give you more forms than others. You don't need to worry too much about that. You just need to pick the right one. Anyways, so Se has -2. And we have the formula here. I'm just going to write it out. So copper... but in this particular case, you have to put a Roman numeral here because you have more than one form. And so I need to know which Roman numeral did I use. We don't have to change anything about selenium besides the "ide." So selenide actually is how you'd say it. All right, so it looks like here... I'm looking at this balance here, and I have a choice to use 1 or 2. Now, if I had used copper 2, it would have been totally balanced to this Se2, so there wouldn't have been any need for any numbers. So it looks like to me that we used copper 1, and so that's why if we use this one, we would have needed another one to balance, so we would have needed 2 altogether to the selenide, and that's why we used copper 1. So I'm going to write a 1 right here to reference that we used just 1 because look you needed 2 coppers to balance selenide, and in order to need 2 we would have had to use this one right here. It's a little bit tricky. We can talk about that in the live stream if you don't totally get it. Okay, going over to silver, to gold, my bad. So gold actually also has two forms, and so it does need a Roman numeral. And so I'm just going to leave the space empty right now, and we'll figure it out in a second. Sulfur, well, we can't write that. We write sulfide for our name, but we need to know which one did we use. When I look, I see that it has two forms. It could be in threes, or it could be in just a 1. And sulfur is a -2. All right, so which one did we use? Well, if we use this one right here, just the one here, and we're looking at sulfur, then we would have seen that he would have needed just another one, so 2, but that's not what happened. You have a 2 and a 3 in the answer, and if you're going to use a 2 and a 3 in the answer, you need to do the flippy-do. So that means that we used the AU3, we used gold 3, because we did the flippy-do here, if you notice. And so we couldn't have used this just single one. We had to use the 3 to get the flippy-do accomplished. And so that's what happened there, and that's why the answer became AU2, because sulfur gave 2 here, and 3 was given there. Okay, Hg, if I go to that on the table, I notice that it has 2 forms, so it needs a Roman numeral. Well, we can write down mercury anyways. And then we're going to put a brackets, and we don't know which one did it use. Did it use 2+ or did it use 1+? Well, we can say what it was used with, oxygen, so we say oxide, and we're done that part. And now we need to write out our choices. All right, so mercury could be in 2 choices. It could be in packages of 2, or it could come in a package of 1. Oxygen always comes in a package of 2. You'll notice here that there's no numbers written in the balance, and so that means that the chemical equation is totally balanced and it doesn't need any numbers. So when I look over here and I look at this 2 and this 2, I notice that they're totally balanced. And so that means that I had to use this one right here, this 2+, to balance the 2 in order for there to be no numbers. So I have to write the Roman numeral 2 in between mercury and oxide. So that's how I solved it. Had I used the 1, I would have got a different formula, and I'll just show you what it would have been. It would have been Hg if I had just used the 1 here, and we had the O right here. We would have had a formula that was Hg2O because that needs more. So that's not the formula we're looking at, and so that's why we use 2. Lanthanide, La. So finding lanthanide, I recognize that there actually is just only one form. There's just a +3. So you know what? That means that I don't need any Roman numerals because there's just only one thing. So I just write down what this is. Lanthium or something. And it goes with sulfur. So this is sulfide. Okay, that's how you name it. And we saw that lanthium had 3, and that sulfide had 2. And because there's a 3 and a 2, you do the swippy-do. You give the 3 over to the S and the 2 over to the La. And so that's why we got La2S3. Okay, but there was no Roman numeral needed because lanthium only has one form. It only just has a +3. So that's how we did all of those naming ones. It's a little bit tricky when it comes to the Roman numerals. We'll keep going over that in class when we go online, but for now, that's how those answers are. When we're looking at chemical formula writing, we always make a chart. And so it's so important that you do this no matter how quickly you kind of can come into this. And so my requirement is if we're going to do an assignment, you're handing things in, you need to hand in the charts along with your answers. So the first thing we do is make a chart. So sodium fluoride, we have to find the symbol for sodium, which is Na. And I notice that it has 1+, so I'm just going to put that there. And then we go and we find fluoride, or fluorine is what we call it. And I notice that it only has 1-. So there it is. And so when I name that, I can just, the name already is written for you there. That's okay. And so, I'm doing my chemical formula. So the chemical formula here would be NaF, because there's actually just a total balance there. You don't have to actually put any numbers in. So then you're done. That's it. Balanced and easy and good to go. Zinc. Zinc is Zn, and I'm noticing it has a 2 plus. And I'm noticing there's only one type of zinc, so that's great. And then sulfur, when I put an S up here, it's just 2 minus like that. It looks like it's balanced. I don't need any extra numbers in here, so you just write it like that, and you're done. Calcium nitride. All right, so the formula for calcium is Ca, and we have a 2 plus. So we're just going to put a 2 plus in there. And the nitride. All right, so nitride is nitrogen, and nitrogen has a 3 minus. Okay, we're running into one of these situations where 3 and 2 don't go into each other. So all we're going to do in order to name our chemical formula is we're going to give we're going to give nitrogen, calcium's 2. We're going to give this 3 over to the calcium. Just do the flippy-do, give them the different numbers from each other. So calcium instead of 2 is going to get 3. Nitrogen instead of 3 is going to get 2. So we're just doing a flippy-do with these two numbers, and that is all you have to do when you have a flippy-do available to you. Iron 3 chloride. All right, so the cool thing about this, making a chart for this, is you don't actually have to go to the periodic table. A lot of times students feel like, oh man, I got to go and find iron, but you actually don't. Because what this is telling you, this 3 right here, is telling you that it's 3 plus. So all you need to write down here is 3 plus. You don't even need to seek out that it has 2 different forms. Chlorine goes in the next bracket here, and it only has 1. So when we ask ourselves who needs more, we know it's chlorine. And then we ask ourselves, how many does chlorine need altogether? Well, they need 3 packages altogether to balance Fe. So the answer to this is FeCl3, because it needs to have 3 packages of chlorine to balance out iron. And that is how you use a Roman numeral inside of this nice little chart right here. So moving to the manganese, there's 2 things on the periodic table. There's magnesium and there's manganese. So make sure that you're finding the right one. This is Mn. It has 2 forms, but it told me which form I'm using. It's using a 2. So I know for a fact that it's going to be a 2 plus there, and it's going to come in a package of 2. Bromine is Br, and it's -1. So I'm going to put a -1 there. Then I'm going to ask myself, who needs more? And I know it's bromine. Bromine altogether needs 2 packages to balance out manganese. So this doesn't get any numbers, but bromine needs 2 to be balanced to that manganese. Okay? Coming back up to cobalt 3 nitride. So cobalt is CO, and I already know that it's going to be cobalt 3 plus because it told me inside of that nice little problem. Nitride, N, is also 3 minus, and so basically, because both of those are 3s, they're balanced already, and so you don't need any numbers, you just need the symbols, CON, and you're finished. Scandium. Scandium is SC. And if I notice, it just has 1 form. It's just 3 plus. So you don't have to do any Roman numeral work there. Phosphide. When I go to phosphorus, I notice that it's 3 minus. And guess what? That's also balanced. So you just write the 2 letters together and you're finished. And this is the answer key for all of these problems in particular, as well as when we look up here, how to name all of these chemical equations. So this is the answer key to ionic compounds, and you guys will be given an assignment to be able to go ahead and work on your own ionic compounds and try to balance them. I suggest working on it with a friend if you can do a FaceTime or do a Facebook deal or whatever you've got going on that you can get online with somebody, and just even check your answers would be probably really important. Tomorrow's online session, Wednesday's online meet at 11:30, is going to be solely based on this, and I strongly recommend that you be there because it is definitely important and essential that you know how to do this, and that we do get a little bit of online class time to go through this. If you are struggling with it today, just wait until tomorrow. Don't stress. I probably won't be doing any crazy one-on-ones up until after the time that we do do our class meet, and I go through this one more time. This isn't something that necessarily comes naturally and easily, but once you get the hang of it, it gets a lot easier. So we are going to be practicing this for the next week or two, and then we'll be moving into polyatomic ions and also into molecular compounds, which is a little easier than this. So yeah, good job. Thanks for sticking with me today and doing this science. And yeah, I encourage you to do a little bit of the homework, but if you want to wait until the online, then go ahead and do that too. All right, peace out.